pull the speedo gear, and that'll go with this assembly here. Cable goes in there. There's your speedo gear. Dual range cover off, and then we'll pull the stator cover off, as well as this one here. So a lot more 5mm Allen bolts. Alright, this covers off. Now if you had a pull starter, this would look a little differently. This would be the pull start part of it. This has just got a block off here. This is actually the cup for the recoil, but it doesn't have the recoil on this one. That's a 17mm bolt there. I'll pull this all off together. It'll just come right off, just slip right off of there. There's splines in here, splines on here that match up. Pulling these Allens. This is just plastic cover here. But those bolts will go all the way through, so you got to pull that, at least loosen these there. Pull this cover, you actually have to pull this stator cover. There's one Allen that's underneath of here, and you can't get that one out unless you pull this stator cover. You get the ones that are clear down in here, they're a little more tricky. So what I do is take a Phillips head screwdriver, a number 3, and I'll put it in there and I'll tap on it a couple times. And then what I'll do, if it doesn't loosen up, and sometimes it will, but what I'll do is take my screwdriver and turn it 1/8 of a turn. Let's see if this one. So you turn it 1/8 of a turn, kind of take it out of the spot that will hold it tight, and hold that screwdriver as tight as you can, and then tap on it. And a lot of times it'll bounce that screw into place, turning it the direction that I need it to turn. It's magnetic, so you may have to put a little pressure on it to remove it. Now these bolts will fall out here, but here's your stator, here's your pulsar right here, and that all generates the spark on this machine. The flywheel here, you gotta have a special tool to remove that. We'll do that here in a little bit. We'll finish pulling this cover here. Now we're able to get to this one here. That was the one that was hidden behind the stator cover. We've got a sensor here that we'll pull out of there. 14mm sensor. There it is there. So not much to this sensor. Phillips head to attach it to the sub harness. Okay, this cover's ready to come off. It'll slip over the shift shaft here. If that shift shaft gets a little rust on there or something, it'll keep it from coming out. There's your part of your transmission there. Here's a starter gear. It's part of the idler gear set. It's got a gear on this side, gear on this side. This contacts the idler gear on the back of the flywheel. This one comes in contact with the starter, and that'll spin freely when the motor's when the starter's engaged. It will engage the flywheel clutch. Now we're going to turn this motor over. But before we do that, I'm going to take this drain bolt out here so we can get that motor draining before we pull that flywheel. So there's the cap there, 19mm cap. We got a spring and a screen. This cap here, a lot of times they'll get rounded off. I just a lot of time will take a chisel and just tap on it to remove it, and that'll come out. Obviously you're gonna have to replace that cap, but at least you can pull that off of there to drain that oil. Now we got 2 more Allens to remove this cylinder, so we got more 5mm Allen, and we'll also pull that starter too while this oil's draining. So get these 2 Allen bolts removed, and then this sound will be ready to come off if it cooperates.